Hey everyone, Steven here, and today I have the pleasure of looking at the new Tidal Series gaming desk from DX Racer. Now, DX Racer is known for their chairs, but they do have some desk options, and the Tidal Series is the latest offering in their lineup. For the size here, you have two options, large or extra large, with the large measuring 47 inches long and 30 inches wide, while the extra large is 55 inches long and 30 inches wide. I have the 55-inch version today, and this has a nice split design that allows for the RGB lighting towards the back, as well as the use of magnetic cable holders on the top since the back end is metal, but I'll go back to that here in a minute. This comes in multiple boxes and everything is very securely packaged, so you don't have to worry there. For the build process, this is a more intricate desk in terms of the features, and so for the setup, expect to sink a little more time into building this compared to a more basic stand-up desk. This for me took roughly an hour to make, but keep in mind I'm also setting up cameras and trying to film, so that's going to affect the overall time. This comes with a really easy to follow one-sheet setup guide, and then you get all of the hardware and tools you'll need to build this as well, so you're covered there. For the build material here, we have the SPCC carbon steel, which feels very premium. And then for the topper, it's split into two sections. The front section is going to be a high density fiber board that's 25 millimeters thick, which is roughly 1 inch. And then it has the shark skin texture on it that is really smooth. In fact, so smooth that you could use your mouse on it if you wanted to. And then for the back end here, you're going to have that SPCC carbon steel. It's a plate that goes over it and is actually magnetically held in place. And that's where you have the RGB light strip that illuminates those open areas towards the back end of the desk. And then for the cable management tray, this is something that you bend the metal into the shape that you need it to be, and then you just hook it on the back end of the desk. Shifting over to the features now, for the overall height adjustment, this can raise and lower a total of 15 inches, with the lowest position being 26.2 inches and the tallest position being 40.9 inches. You can stop this at any position between those 2 points, and you have 2 save slots on the controller, so you can quickly swap between your sitting and standing heights. DX says the motor operates at less than 40 decibels for a quiet lift, so it won't cause any disruptions whether you have this at your house or office. And on the controller, you can actually adjust the auto reverse and pickup sensitivity between levels 1, 2, and 3. And this can handle up to 50 kilograms or 110 pounds for the load without any sticking points when raising or lowering. For most of the video, I have my smaller monitor on there, but I did want to test this out with my 45-inch LG OLED, which is a massive monitor, and it handled it with ease. On the back end of the desk, you have that removable steel plate that I mentioned that covers up the area where you will run the RGB lighting. With that being the steel, one of the cool features is you can use magnetic cable holders. So if you have a USB Type-C up there for charging your phone or anything like that, you can use the magnetic ones and they will hold in place very well. And DX Racer does have you covered here because they give you 4 of these. And I really like this because it means you won't have to mess with using 3M tape or glue if you were to use any type of cable management holder. A lot of those come with some type of adhesive, which means when you go to remove them at any point, it can be pretty messy, or in certain instances, if it's really adhered to that top of the desk or side of the desk or anything like that, it may actually potentially cause some damage. Here, you won't have to worry about that at all. Now on the top at the very back where this steel plate is, in the center, you're going to have an opening where you can run your cables, and it kind of keeps them from just spilling out all over the place. I like this feature as well. Once you go underneath the desk, you have the cable management tray, which has plenty of room and openings on it to run all of your cables. It's actually big enough that you can put an outlet strip up there if you wanted to and still keep all of your cables hidden. And if you do put an outlet strip up there, you won't have any cables from that dangling down underneath your desk. And the reason for that is because you have an integrated power supply column, which is one of my favorite parts of the desk. This is essentially an outlet extension, but what it does is eliminates the extra cables hanging down from your desk that power and run the motor. But not just your desk and the motor. If you're using that outlet strip, if you plug your monitor and your PC and your peripherals into this, everything can be contained inside of that cable management tray. So again, you're not going to have any cables just hanging down from the back of the desk, and everything looks really clean. This also helps with if you're going to raise and lower this, you don't have to figure out and calculate, do you have enough cable length to certain things that are on your desk, like your PC or your monitor? Because the concern there is if you were to go from a seated position and then raises up to a standing position, if you don't have enough cable length, then of course that's something that may get pulled on. It may get pulled off of the desk, and you want to avoid that. So here it isn't an issue at all. So I really like what they've done with the power supply column, and I wish other stand-up desks would just have this feature. It's going to be really hard to go back to a stand-up desk that doesn't have this feature after using it with the DX Racer Tidal Desk. Next, we have the controller on this desk, which is awesome, and it actually uses a mechanical keyboard for the inputs. You can hear the clickiness with these. They feel really good, they sound really good, and the cool part here is you can use custom keycaps if you wanted to. This has an LED display on it, which will tell you your height that you're at, and you can change this both from the millimeters to inches. It's going to tell you the RGB effect that you're using. It's going to let you know if there is something going on with the desk, and then you can change certain settings, like the speed at which this will actually raise and lower. For that, I mentioned earlier, it has 3 different levels to it. You also have a dial on the controller that you can use to adjust the lighting effects, which you have 8 different settings total for this, and I'm going to showcase that right now as I'm talking. The controller itself has lighting on it as well, and then you have that light strip on the top of the desk towards the back, like I mentioned earlier. Now, in order to change between these different lighting effects, you simply push that button in, and then you use the dial and turn it to adjust the total brightness. For the app here, it is this kind of like almost like Smart Life if you've used a product that uses that app. DX Racer isn't making their own app. They're using this other third-party app in order to control it. I looked into the privacy settings. Everything here says they should not be taking any of your data, so you don't have to worry about that. It uses Bluetooth. Once you pull this up, this is the first page that you will see here. You have the memory function 1 and 2. You just hit that and it will actually just go up to whatever you set it at. And then you can hit obviously the other one. It will go back down. In the center there, you can actually just hold the up and down arrow, and then just as if you were using the controller on the desk, it will actually raise and lower this. You could lock this as well, which if you do that, the controller will turn red. On the controller, if you were to press the red button that has a circle or a 0 on it, it would actually do the same thing. At the bottom, you have the auto reverse sensitivity. You have low, mid, and high. You can see on the controller that it's actually showcasing as well on that what I'm changing, what I'm doing. And here you can see that lock function, which that will just lock the controller down so any inputs on it won't register. This is very helpful for anybody that has kids that may come over and actually start just pressing the buttons. You can make it so that those won't register on that, unless of course they turn the lock function off. Next, we have the lighting here. You have the 8 effects. At the top, you're going to have the brightness, which is what I'm using the slider for right now. But then you have breathing, rainbow, pickup 1, pickup 2, daylight, rogue, galaxy, and firefly. For pickup 1 and 2, that just means if there's a sound, it will then showcase the lighting effect. At the bottom, you have the color strip there where you can just choose any color on that you want. This technically registers as the 9th option when it comes to the different colors that you can do with this. So on the controller, you just have the 8, but if you use the app, you can unlock this 9th one where you can then actually just cycle through all these different colors. I do like that. And that's actually going to be it for the app. Clean, simple, easy to use. I think DX Racer has done an awesome job with the Tidal Series gaming desk, and for me, the integrated power supply column, the controller, and the overall aesthetics/build quality are the highlights with this. The integrated power supply just allows for a much cleaner setup, and the amount of space they give you with the cable management tray makes it easy to get all of the stuff on your desk plugged in with ease. I'm hoping to get some custom keycaps for the controller soon, and the lighting on this adds a very cool aesthetic to my setup for when I'm doing my monitor reviews. This also comes in a white version if the black version doesn't really match your overall setup, so do keep that in mind. If I can improve anything here, it would be the multifunction hooks, which are a bit smaller and crammed in, so it's hard to hang your headset from just one of these. You can do it, but it is easier to actually just have it hooked on to two. If they were a little bit bigger and a little bit more spread out, it would be easier to hang your headset from just one hook, but also any other peripherals that you may have that you would want to hang off of these hooks as well. But you do have hooks on both sides of the desk, so it's not that big of a deal because you can put the peripherals that you want on one side and the other ones on the other side. One other thing would be including a PC under desk bracket, which they actually show in some of the images for this. But like I said, it doesn't actually come with the desk, but it is a separate thing you can purchase. Unfortunately with that, I don't have any information on not only the price, but when they're going to get it in stock. So right now that is just a missing piece that you can't get, but hopefully that will be up on the website soon. And when it is up on the website, I will make sure to add a link in the description so you can check that out for yourself. So that's going to wrap this video up. I think DX Racer has done a really great job with the Tidal Series gaming desk here. I'm going to have a link for this in the description if you want to pick it up. If you have any questions about this that I didn't answer in the video, let me know in the comment section. I will make sure to answer that for you there. If you like the video, hit the like button for me as it helps the channel out. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.